Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Come in.
Thank you, sir.
Sit, and you can take off your mask
Yes, sir.
and tell us how should we address you, Salunke or Gaurav or Ravindra?
Gaurav, sir.
Gaurav is the first name.
Yes, sir.
Isko hata lo, put it on the side. In the interview, also keep it on the side, and you can open your button also. Otherwise, you'll feel uncomfortable. Okay?
Yes. Thank
And
you,
you can keep it in your pocket, fold it and keep it in your pocket.
Yes.
So, Gaurav, Maharashtra has been facing a lot of floods.
Yes, sir.
What is the problem?
Sir, this year we faced floods in basically two pockets. One in the Konkan region and one in Western Maharashtra. Konkan region, historically, due to the geographical factors, it receives very high rainfall. And due to the illegal constructions and the encroachments over the floodplains, they are vulnerable to the floods. And Western Maharashtra, sir, it is not that it does not historically face flood situation, but in 2019 it faced very severe floods, and again in 2000 this year 21 they faced severe floods. The reasons are, sir, there are in a very short span there is very high rainfall. Second issue is also about dam management, sir. Due to lack of coordination between the successive dams, the situation worsens. And thirdly, there is a large scale encroachment upon the river floodplains. The drain system in these cities like Kolhapur, Sangli, they are not that well developed. Due to that, when flood comes, then there is a larger devastation.
What is the installed capacity in Koyna Dam?
Sir,
You have no idea. Have you seen that dam?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, but illegal construction can be there only in cities and all. But here it appears all the rural areas of Ratnagiri, etc., have also been affected badly. Eh?
Yes, sir. Sir, the greater casualties in the Konkan region was due to the landslide, because the whole that mountain collapse.
There the construction is not the problem.
It was a natural disaster.
Geology of that area, is it not? Okay.
Yes.
Now in Chiplur, there was one major foreign company. Some issue was there many years before. Huh?
Yes, sir.
One company started a power plant there, then they wound up. What was that problem?
I think it was Enron, sir, in 1990s.
What happened?
Sir, there was proposal of power plant, and I think it was based on that gas-based power plant. But I think the Enron went bankrupt, sir. Therefore, the project did not progress.
Enron went bankrupt, or the project itself was bankrupt?
Sir, it faced a lot of political crisis in Maharashtra in 1990s. And I think Enron also faced severe financial problems. Therefore, that project did not took off.
All that area is also famous for the naval development by Shivaji Maharaj.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us something about his naval ambitions?
Sir, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was a very visionary leader. He has identified the importance of navy in his initial years, and he has established his own fleet, and he has initially taken the help of some Portuguese people who are expert in that, and there is local people also, sir, under the Admiral Kanoji Angre, I think, if I am remembering his name correctly. He was made the Sir Nobat, or the chief of Maratha Navy, and he has also built important forts like Sindhudur Fort. Then he owned the Mulund Janjira Fort, which is very strategically located, and later also, sir, they continued that naval build-up.
You are also from the mechanical engineering side.
Yes, sir.
And you cleared with distinction.
Yes, sir.
And this college was in
Pune, sir.
Pune.
Yes.
I see. It is a private college or this?
Yes, private college.
It is a private college. Okay. What is the basic difference between a petrol engine and a diesel engine?
Sir, in petrol engine we use the spark plus for ignition. It is the SI engine, the spark ignition engine, and diesel engine is called a CI engine. It is compression ignition engine, because the charge is compressed to very higher level and then it is ignited. In SI engine, petrol engine, sir, we use the outer spark to ignite that charge. So this is the very basic difference between both.
What is the cycle known as?
Sir, the petrol cycle is known as Otto cycle, and the diesel engine cycle is known as diesel cycle only.
What is the compression ratio in a diesel engine?
Sir, I am not able to recall.
Okay. How is an electric vehicle different from a petrol vehicle?
Sir, there is very fundamental difference because the transmission system is different.
Okay.
The induction motors are used in the EV, the electronic vehicles. So the efficiency is much higher because in the conventional engine it is around 30-35%. In this engine it is much higher, and also the transmission losses are much lower, sir. So it is a very different type of engine, and it is very efficient.
So if it is so efficient, why people are not using it?
Sir, I think the technology is still in phase of development. We have certain vehicles now that like Tata's Nexon that has been quite popular, but they are now Indian companies are also coming with the different vehicles. So in 10 years, sir, I think we will have a major chunk as well.
As an engineer, which are those areas where the technology has not developed to the extent it should, and how is it different in petrol engine?
Sir, I think the engineers did try to improve the efficiency of petrol engine, but beyond certain.
No, electric vehicle. Which are the areas of weakness?
Sir, I think we are still working on the battery side because how we are going to store the energy, and even different solutions are now coming up. There is that hydrogen fuel cell engine, or that's used to store the energy. So different technologies are emerging, sir. I think it
in the battery side, which is the leading world's company which is planning to manufacture vehicular batteries?
Sorry, sir.
Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla is.
And what is the material which is used in batteries?
Lithium-ion batteries are used, sir.
Now you know what the batteries are also giving rise to a lot of pollution.
Yes, sir.
How do we overcome that?
Sir, the batteries use various very rare earth elements which are quite polluting. Like there is nickel cadmium batteries also. There is mercury is also used in some batteries, and if they are discharged in environment, in water or air, they are very polluting. So we have to also work on how we are going to operate those engines and maintain that batteries. So I think still research needs to be done on that.
Okay, Gaurav, tell me, Maharashtra is a very big state.
Yes, sir.
And which the sports are taking place, Olympics are taking place. Which sports Maharashtrians are good at?
Sir, the Maharashtra has a tradition of its own games, but they are not at represented at Olympic level. But now we had players at archery. There is Mr. Praveen Jadhav who is representing India. Then in rifle shooting also, sir, especially in Pune, we have the very state-of-art facilities, and we have produced even the international players are now practicing in Pune for rifle shooting, like Gagan Narang and Hina Sidhu. So in rifle shooting, I think Maharashtra has good.
What are the traditional sports of Maharashtrians?
Yes, sir. It was mainly related to the Maratha army and the games that those were played, like Mallakham, which is especially played in it is related to Kushti or the wrestling.
Wrestling, yes.
Yes, and Kolhapur has a very strong tradition of wrestlers, and the first Olympician in Olympic medalist was from Maharashtra, Mr. K.T. Jadhav, who won bronze in Helsinki Olympic 1952. So Mallakham is one of the very traditional game, and even the Lezim, sir. It is actually a dance, but it is mainly also used for the physical education and physical training. It is used as a drill. And Maratha army used to use the Lezim as part of their drills, and it has also one traditional significance. The bamboo pole in the Lezim was used to hide the gupti, that was a weapon, and Maratha army was adept at guerrilla warfare. So they use that Lezim as also the part of the tactics as well as the physical.
But by now, last couple of Olympics and Asian Games, no Maharashtra wrestler has made a contribution.
Sir, I think in last Olympic, Mr. Narsingh Yadav had the chances of winning the medal, but due to the unfortunate incidences.
Narsingh Yadav was from Maharashtra?
Yeah, he is from Mumbai, sir. He is actually from UP, but he practiced, and actually his father from his father.
What is the history of Bombay city, Bombay as such, how it developed over the centuries?
Yes, sir. Sir, Bombay was the conglomeration of the islands, and it was initially developed by the Britishers. During Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, it was not that prominent place. but later it was developed, and due to the typical factors, like it was close to that.
Initially, it was colonized by which country?
I think it is English people, sir, because I think Britishers get that in dowry from Portuguese in 1962 or 1967. 1687, sir, I think. So from that they developed it, and due to the typical factors, like Bombay was located close to the black cotton soil belt, so the textile industry developed a lot. There was finance available. There was the Parsi people were very they are
Okay.
industrial
So
people.
now tell me, you have a coalition government in Maharashtra at the moment.
Yes.
Coalition government. Do you think the single party strong governments are better in governance or the coalition party governments?
Sir, I believe that how you are managing the coalition will decide how whether you are going to perform. Ideally, if there is a single party rule, then there is a better coordination. There are less tussles between different groups. So it is expected that they are much more effective. But coalition governments are, sir, the fact of the democracy like India.
Okay,
Because,
you have taken political science international relations,
yes, sir.
but you haven't given IFS as a second choice or
Yes.
first choice.
Yes, sir.
It's a fourth choice.
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Sir, I believe that all services provide me the
Okay,
opportunity.
that's okay, but you've shown your interest in political science and international relations.
Yes, sir, my inner calling was towards working inside the nation at the grassroots level. Therefore, I have
Well,
chosen.
there is a statement, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Who said so?
Sir, I think that George Bernard Shaw. I'm not sure, but
And what does it mean?
sir, it shows the relation between the authority and power and how it affects the individuality. It is based on, I think, empirical observations. Sometimes when power come to the people, if they have low morals, then they go corrupt. They does not adhere to their morality, and therefore I think that.
If our Prime Minister has talked about one election, one nation, one election,
Yes, sir.
is it possible under our constitution?
Sir, I think we have to do certain constitutional amendments for that. Ideally, it will be good, but considering, sir, the political construct in India, it will be, I think, practically a bit difficult, because we face sometime political instability in different states, and how then we are going to manage the different elections with the state elections.
Yes. Gaurav,
Yes, sir.
what role WHO has played in controlling corona pandemic?
Yes. Sir, I think initially WHO faced criticism. There was also the allegations of not handle or not recognizing the nature of pandemic. But I think later on they provided the scientific guidelines, because many nations, small nations, they don't have institutions like our ICMR. So they mostly depend on WHO and their regional centers for all scientific things. So they given them the guidelines and how they are going to treat the patients of that. They also, I think, conducted the trials for different medicines. They were initially thought of working against the COVID, and I think, sir, they have also sent the inquiry committee to that Wuhan market and that whole place where it was suspected the COVID originated.
So in yesterday's report, according to that, how many people have been vaccinated in India so far? Do you have any data?
No, sorry, sir.
50 crores approximately.
Yes.
No idea about that. What role UNDP is playing? UNDP.
Yes.
Like in India, can you give some example of the project conducted by UNDP?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recollect exactly.
Okay, what is the function of UNEP?
What, sir?
UNEP is a global body, UN body,
Yes.
United Nations Environment Program.
UNEP, yes.
So what role they are playing in controlling the environment pollution and
Yes. Sir,
creating a new pollution-free environment?
Yes.
What role they are playing?
Sir, I think UNEP and IPCC work very closely. they produce the scientific reports and assessments about how we are going to, in which direction we are going in controlling the temperature rise. And also, sir, I think they are one of the pivotal force behind the different negotiations that are happening about the climate change.
Yesterday, I think, or day before yesterday, your environment minister from Maharashtra, he has appealed to center government regarding some, climate change issues after seeing, a lot of severe floods in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Do you know what was that negotiation?
Sir, I have not read that.
You have not read the paper for the last 2-3 days?
I have read the paper, but I am not able to recollect, sir, what exactly.
What happened? You can, follow it up. Why, this in Maharashtra, major industries are only nearby Mumbai.
Yes.
The rest of the Maharashtra is not that much developed. What are the reasons for that?
Sir, I think there are several reasons. One is the history. Mumbai was actually, it was the seaport, so that Mumbai Thane region, whole area, different industries like petrochemical, textile, the finance centers developed in Mumbai. Also, sir, the land and labor was also available easily to the Mumbai from the hinterland of Maharashtra. And there was, sir, the communities in Mumbai who were local from Mumbai also, they showed that spirit of entrepreneurship. Therefore, the Mumbai developed as a financial hub. I think Pune is also quite industrialized, sir. It is in hinterlands, and new regions like Aurangabad, Kolhapur, Nashik, small MIDCs are coming up, but they are not up to that stage of Mumbai, sir.
Okay. Mr. K. Kasturi Rangan committee gave a report. What was that report? Can you tell us some details about that?
Yes, sir. Kasturirangan committee was organized after that report of Gadgil committee that talked about the Western Ghat. The Gadgil committee expressed its wish to convert whole Western Ghat into eco-sensitive zones. So, and there were opposition from certain states which are in the Western Ghats. Therefore, government reconstituted that Kasturirangan committee. It divided Western Ghats into cultural part and the core environmental area. I think they got about 37 or around 40% area of what Gadgil committee has mentioned as eco-sensitive zone, and they have given very comprehensive recommendation about how to control pollution and how to take care about the different factors in that particular Western Ghat area. So I think it is still not implemented, sir. If it has been implemented, we would have not seen the disasters.
Last question. Tell me two significant points in national education policy.
Yes.
2020, only two things
Sir, the most important.
on which the maximum emphasis has been given.
Yes. Sir, the one area is they have recognized that pre-primary education, and they are coming with the national curriculum framework of pre-primary education. And the second about the higher education, sir, they have they have actually mentioned to overhaul the system, like they are now they have given timeline for converting either the college as a constituent of university or autonomous degree granting college. In 15 years we have to convert that. Then there are multiple entry multiple exit system. There is academic credit banks that we are going to develop, and National Research Foundation, on the basis of the their research foundation is coming up to enhance the research prospects in the nation. It is a quite comprehensive document, sir, NEP.
Okay, thank you.
Gaurav,
Yes, sir.
tell me what is integrated water resource management?
Yes. Sir, the integrated water resource management encompasses various factors. It like the watershed development, the small activities like the nala bunding and other activities where the water is actually stored at very local places, and they are the groundwater is planned to recharge at that place only. Also, sir, it has various components like in for agriculture, sir, that water integrated water management program also involves that efficient canal system, that the losses we should reduce, and also I think, sir, the different schemes like per drop, more crop, etc. also are part of that.
How much percent water required by the agriculture? How much, for the rural purposes, and how much for urban areas?
Sir, I think more than 75% of the water resource are used in agriculture, and for a household purposes it is less, and I think 10-12% is for the industrial purposes, sir. Water uses.
What is Pani Panchayat? In Maharashtra,
Yes.
you have, water distribution system
Yes.
in some villages. Do
Yes.
you know that?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think it is they decide how they are going to utilize the water in canals. By it is formed at localized levels.
There are, water users association.
Yes.
So what is the purpose of that? Why these associations are formed?
Yes. Sir, I think the prime motive of that water users association is how they are going to utilize the water resource that they have been provided, because the canal system at the grassroots level, sir, it is quite decentralized. There are different farmers and there are limited channels. So how they are going to control that, I think the associations decide that.
What is, you are from Jalgaon.
Yes, sir.
So any specific thing about Jalgaon? Why the name Jalgaon is given to this place?
Sir, the Jalgaon was actually established in 17th century by Maratha commanders. The major river Girna river flows through Jalgaon, and also there is one big lake, Merun Lake. It is a very big wetland that is a place near Jalgaon. Therefore, I think the name is that Jalgaon.
There is, you have used two terms. One is watershed, one is, water body. No, that is wetland.
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between the two?
Sir, wetland is actually the means mix of the the scientific specification is, sir, that its depth should not be more than 6 meters, and there is a mixing of the terrestrial land ecosystem plus water ecosystem. While I think a lake is a more comprehensive concept, but wetlands are also very important for the ecosystems.
No, what is, importance for which ecosystem?
Sir,
Because wetland is an ecosystem in itself.
Yes, sir.
Is it not?
Yes, sir.
So what are ecosystem services?
Sir, they provide very essential services like water recharging, water purification, nutrient recycling also, and I think the whole ecosystem depends upon that. Basic wetland ecosystem, sir, because different organisms are there in that system. There is a nutrients are recycled, so it also stabilizes the temperature, etc. Sir.
Okay. Watershed management, what are the components of watershed management? And
Yes,
what is micro watershed?
Yes, sir. Sir, I think watershed management relates to how we are going to store the water, or in the especially in the mountain or other regions, sir, where there is we receive the rainfall. They are managed at local level by building the small dams at the local level, and also, sir, there is the activities like deepening of the channels. Then there is in Maharashtra we have very significant program as the Jal Yukta Shivar. The whole concept of Jal Yukta Shivar is the watershed management.
You can read to it.
Yes, sir, I will
My
read.
last question is Science, Technology, Innovation Policy 2020. Do you know about that policy?
Sir, I have not.
Science, Technology, Innovation Policy 2020. This was launched recently. Any idea about the policy?
Sorry, sir, I will read it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gaurav. Just wait for a minute, we will call you back.
Yes, thank you, sir.